I'm not even really sure where to start with this one because it is so saucy. Rarely does the president of the United States get on the phone with the commissioner of the SSA, and it somehow makes it into the news about the president of the United States, Donald Trump, basically slapping the hand, the wrist, the whatever, of the current commissioner, Leland Dudek, about essentially his comments related to Social Security Administration benefits. Now, as you know, there was a liberal judge who made a decision, right, that was to completely ban DOGE employees and their affiliates. And Commissioner Dudek then responded and said, well, I mean, and to be fair, he was right, that DOGE affiliates can mean lots of people. The tech staff, fraud staff, waste staff, OIG, CDI unit personnel. It can mean a lot of people. And as a result of that, just to be clear, he made some comments that he was like, we're just going to shut the whole system down. Nobody's going to get their checks. Nobody's going to have. He didn't say that that people aren't going to get their checks, but he's like, we're just going to shut the whole system down, and then the judge can figure out how to run this agency. And what's interesting about that saucy little nugget of information is that when that happened, President Trump literally reached out and said, whoa, buddy, you gonna fix that statement. And ironically, as I sit here and think about it, I'm like, what's interesting is that President Trump has to reach out to the SSA to correct the statements of the person he picked to, replace the person who wanted to basically cut off DOGE from getting access to information. Let me read this to you. It's breaking news. Washington Post, federal judge pushes back on acting Social Security head over threat to close agency. Leland Dudek backed off his argument that a ruling blocking Elon Musk's cost-cutting team from access to sensitive data could apply to all agency employees. Although, to be fair, Commissioner Leland Dudek wasn't really wrong when the judge issued that statement that was way too broad about who could not actually access things at the SSA. Now, the argument usually used, which I don't necessarily disagree with, I'm kind of on board with it, is that DOGE is made of a lot of young kids. And maybe they have the security clearances, maybe they got everything rubber stamped for them by, the White House, whatever. But usually when an audit occurs, to be fair, the auditing personnel, sometimes they're young, right? The new Teamsters, sometimes they're young, but usually those personnel are like industry standards, okay? The pillars of the industry that have like retired or they just do consulting now, whatever. But when they do an audit, it's usually those types of individuals. Instead, DOGE is kind of like a ramp this thing up overnight, get super bright kids together, do full analysis, try and find problems, and then report it. So is it standardized as an audit in that way? No. Are they doing it like they would normally do an audit, where they go into the systems, check server, by mainframe by mainframe? Yes. But there is an argument about, are these kids really trained for industry standard auditing practices? Probably not. All right. Acting Social Security Commissioner Leland Dudek threatened Thursday evening to bar Social Security Administration employees from accessing its computer systems. It was really more the tech support systems, although he did go on to say, shut the whole thing down, which means basically, I guess that would be in all systems then, in response to a judge's order blocking the U.S. DOGE service from accessing sensitive taxpayer data. But it's because of the wording that the judge used. Less than 24 hours later, and this is like breaking news, after the judge rejected his argument and the White House intervened, Dudek is saying he was out of line. Dudek initially told news outlets, including in a Friday interview with the Washington Post, that the judge's decision to bar sensitive data access to DOGE's affiliates was overly broad, and that to comply, he might have to block virtually all SSA employees from accessing the agency's computer systems. That was too far of a reach on behalf of the commissioner. However, the commissioner was not wrong in saying, hey, we got to block our tech people, our fraud people, our fault people, our waste people, our OIG people. We got to block all these people. He wasn't wrong in that. The judge kind of effed up and did not put the proper wording in there to restrict just the DOGE employees. Dudek initially told news outlets, including in a Friday interview with the Washington Post, that the judge's decision to bar sensitive data access to DOGE's affiliates was overly broad, and that to comply, he might have to, basically bar all the SSA employees from accessing the agency's computer. But Judge Hollander, that's the judge of the U.S. District Court of the District of Maryland, who issued the order, said in a letter that Dudek's assertions were inaccurate. Quote, employees of SSA who are not involved with the DOGE team or in the work of the DOGE team are not subject to the order. Hollander wrote in the letter on Friday sent to lawyers involved in the case, moreover, any suggestions that the order may require the delay or suspension of benefit payments is incorrect. Here's the thing. The judge, in my opinion, screwed up because the judge shouldn't have used the word or the phrasing affiliates of DOGE are to be barred accessing the system. It should have been point by point the specific division names of DOGE / those specific divisions that work with DOGE that would be limited. She should have said, OIG, CDI units, tech support related to fraud investigation. She should have been really specific, because at the end of the day, the problem is she's now created a situation where too many people legally will be barred from accessing the Social Security system, which is just going to suck for you guys, because if they can't fix tech problems and they can't basically work on fraud and waste, then all of the things that they normally would do as employees of the SSA would be barred. So to me, the judge really made a mistake there. Also, real quick, Theodore, thank you for the $10 donation. I really, really super appreciate the donations right now. Shadow basically is going to be going through a major surgery in the not too distant future. I have not made the video yet because he's actually getting more imaging in Fort Lauderdale right now before he may, I'm not really sure yet, be going up to Ohio to go ahead and essentially go through that mega hip replacement surgery, which, for a dog, especially one of the 30 to 35 pound area, is a very big deal. So something just, I super appreciate the donations. Now, with that said, in response to Hollander's letter, Dudek said in a statement that the court clarified its guidance and therefore I'm not shutting down the agency. I mean, whoa, you know what I mean? But I mean, at the same time, you have a lot of individuals who are super reliant on that check. Let's call it as retirement, disability, spousal, etc. When they hear potentially the agency could be shut down because of a court order, it's saucy. When I first made the actual thumbnail, the thumbnail was for the prior video that we just did 2 videos ago, the thumbnail was specifically for what was going on in that agency may be shut down as a result. But I didn't want to cause fear. So I just said, basically I limited it to, specific systems. But that's not what was going on. What was going on was an actual agency shutdown as a result of a judge's order. But I didn't want to scare people. So the reality is he is now apologizing for basically coming out. Now, here's the best part. He's apologizing because Donald Trump called him and said, yo, buddy, you need to fix this shit. They need to know their check is coming, because you better believe it. If the SSA shuts down, Donald Trump ain't never going to get a vote again. That's the reality. Dudek, in a follow-up interview Friday afternoon with the Post, thanked Hollander for the clarification, adding, the president is committed to keeping the Social Security offices open to serve the public. He then acknowledged that this was an about-face from his stance in an interview with the Post earlier in the day. Although to counter that, to be fair, I'm not picking on Commissioner Dudek, not picking on Trump, maybe picking on Trump a little bit here. To be fair, if that's true, then why is President Trump shutting down so many local field offices? The one closest to my house is getting shut down, just so you guys are aware. Like it's not like it doesn't affect me, okay? Why is Donald Trump shutting down 6 of the 10 regional field offices? Anybody? I'm just saying, let me just read the statement. The president is committed to keeping the Social Security offices open to serve the public. Is he really though? I don't feel like that's a perfect representation of what's actually going on. But at the same time, you know what I mean? He's trying to save a buck. So again, I'm not a Democrat, not a Republican. I'm in the middle, right? Okay, cool. Independent. Quote, the White House called me. This is what I love. This is what's so crazy about it. Like, imagine making a statement and then, like, you know, I don't know if it was like an hour later or 5 hours later, he gets a call from Trump. Trump's like, hey, Dudek, what are you doing, buddy? Did you just tell the American public, as the leader of the Social Security Administration, that you are going to shut down the systems because this judge gave us a bad ruling? Did you just do that? And I wish I could have been on the phone. I just wish I could have been like, because the saucy spiciness of that tantalizing moment must have been palpable at the deepest levels. I mean, like something that just creeps under your fingernail and spikes that super sensitive skin. Miserable, palpable feeling. Anyway, here we go. Quote, the White House called me and let me know it's important to reaffirm to the public that we're open for business, he said. Quote, the White House did remind me that I was out of line, and so did the judge, and I appreciate that. You know what I love about Commissioner Dudek, though? Like, he's never been at that executive level, you know, which you always have to be professional, right? You always have to, you know what I mean? So you get some stuff coming out of him that you would never get out of a regular, like, super executive. You know, the super executives, they will lie through their teeth. They will lie through their teeth to give you what you expect to hear, and then they'll go do something else. Not Commissioner Dudek. You know what he's thinking. You know exactly where he's going with it, which I actually appreciate. Some people hate it. I actually kind of appreciate it because to me, it's like, you know, we get to find out. And just to say to Charlton Zimmerman, who said, oh my, if offices shut down, Walter will be out of work. You know, here's the thing. Like, maybe I just go work on the rental home and like try to get that damn project done. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, look, guys, I can do a lot of different things. You know what I mean? I can run a law firm, which means I can pretty much run most other programs, most other companies. I could be a real estate agent. I could do any of those things. You know what I mean? I do know how to use high-end AI-generated content now. I've been working on that. Do have some music production, video production skill. I could probably find a way to make a living other than working at McDonald's. Although, to be fair, I'd be fine with working at McDonald's. They'd probably have me doing attorney stuff there to fight the people who are eating too hot a French fry. It is what it is. All right, here we go. So here, Hollander issued a 2-week temporary restraining order Thursday that prohibits Social Security officials from sharing personally identifiable information with Musk's U.S. DOGE service, which has been empowered to carry out cost cutting across the government. So basically, Commissioner Dudek said, all right. We're going to do a 2-week temporary restraining order. Hollander's blessing, judge's blessing. We'll see how it goes. Hollander, who was appointed by President Barack Obama, wrote that DOGE essentially engaged in a fishing expedition at the SSA in search of a fraud epidemic based on little more than suspicion and never identified or articulated even a single reason for which the DOGE team needs unlimited access to the SSA's entire record system. If you're going to do an audit, you're going to do an audit. You know what I mean? I understand that some audits are about a specific piece of evidence. This was obviously not that. This was a full, open the book, page 1, go to the last page. Everything in the middle is available. Okay. Some of you support it 100%. Some of you hate it 100%. I ain't getting in the middle of that. That's your problem. All right. Commissioner Dudek first made his threat to close down the agency during Bloomberg News interview Thursday night. Such a dramatic move to effectively shut down the agency would have been unprecedented in the agency's history and would immediately begin halting benefit payments for millions of Americans. But remember, guys, I said, and you guys are like, oh, you're just scaring people. I was like, look, there might be some benefit service interruptions and some benefit interruptions. Okay. Hopefully they'll be small. Hopefully it'll be that guy that lives down the street on that corner house that you never talk to. And, you know, that has the bad vibe to them. You know what I mean? Hey, you know, all right. One plaintiff in the lawsuit at the heart of the ruling said Friday that the judge's intention was clear and accused Dudek of acting like a child who didn't get his way. Where Dudek was right was that the decision was too broad. Where Dudek was wrong was when he said it included all SSA personnel and that he would shut down the entire agency and cause massive panic among the American people. Like 72 million people would be very unhappy. We're talking about the sad Happy Meal. where you don't get a toy, it's very bad. The French fries are not fresh. For almost 90 years, quote, Social Security has never missed a paycheck, but 60 days into this administration, they're going to hit them hard. Social Security is now on the brink. Lee Saunders, president of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, said in the statement, acting commissioner Leland Dudek has proven again that he is in way over his head, compromising the privacy of millions of Americans, shutting down services that senior citizens rely on, and planning debilitating layoffs on the service to Elon Musk's lies. Hollander's scathing 137 order was the latest court ruling preventing DOGE, which stands for the Department of Government Efficiency, from sifting through databases of federal agencies because of privacy concerns. Other federal judges have ruled that the Treasury and Education departments cannot share sensitive data with Musk's team, although some of them have ruled that they can. It's going to be a big battle that ends up in the Supreme Court. But DOGE's activities at Social Security have drawn particular scrutiny because of its role as the government's central hub for Americans' most sensitive personal and financial information. I don't think that that's an accurate statement. I think prison records would be a more accurate statement for that. I think private data files at the CIA of operatives that are basically in other countries doing things that other countries don't realize that they're doing, that I see as potentially a little bit more so. Oh, I didn't even holy cannoli! There's a huge. I don't. Let me hold on. There it is. Renee P. with a mega donation, the $50 donation. That's absolutely amazing. What percentage does YouTube take? Is there a better way to support you? Appreciate you. So the best way, and again, super thank you for the donation. I'm not sure. I think it was a really high percentage. I think it was like 20, 30%, something like that. The best way if you want to support, yeah, there you go. YouTube takes 30%. The best way if you want to support me is to Google my name, Walter Hnot, and student loans. My student loans were like $500,000. They're down to like just under $300,000. I will be paying on them until I basically either have children, which will be in my 70s, or until I die, which will probably also be in my 70s. So somewhere around that magical, wonderful 70 number, somewhere around that is when I'll be done with my student loans. I'm really excited about them. Now, there is the rule where if you make so many payments, they ultimately forgive you. I mean, I've been making payments for 1,000 years. I feel like at this point, they're going to have to keep me alive so that I keep paying it. So I'm hoping that at some point they'll give me Medicare just to continue those student loans. Let me tell you. And it sucks too, because like I'm on one of those like repayment plans, and the gig with the repayment plan is like, they suck a chunk from whatever I get paid. They suck a chunk from it every single month. So like, no matter what, I never really get ahead in that regard. Like, so if you guys are wondering like, why isn't Attorney Walter Hnot on a yacht in the Riviera? He's got a lot of viewers and he's got a lot of subscribers and he's got a law firm for almost 12 years. Why is he not on a yacht in, I don't know, make up an island, the Polynesian island of Fluffins? Because the government with the little tiny fingers, little grubby fingers, they get right up in there, and they take all my money, and it just sucks. It is what it is. So like, people are like, man, why are you always like, and they see my cars, like my vehicles, like they are rusting. the clear coat is peeled. The paint is now on its last leg. And like the other side of the coin is like, I rebuild stuff too. So, and I don't care about a paint job. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Some people grow up and they're like, you have to have this BMW. You have to have this Mercedes. I grew up and I'm like, I'm going to make that Prius last. I'm going to make that Prius go another 5 years. 5 years on the horizon for that Prius. It's going to happen. Yeah, that wheel's got some flub to it. I know. Its transmission's a little wonky when it's hot out. I know, but that Prius, we're going to be all right. We'll be all right. All right, so with that said, I just had to put, you'll love this. I took it to the tire place to basically get it balanced. You know what I mean? Where they put it on the machine and they do the rotation, the balance, the area. And and the lady just looked at me and she's like, your tires are almost bald. I was like, no, they're all right. All right. She's like, no, they're almost bald. I was like, I don't think they are. She's like, no, come here. So I go out there and she's like showing me. And to be fair, one of the tires, has a little, one of those thingies, you know what I mean? So it gets a little bald on one side, right? So, you know what I mean? Yeah, that one definitely. Anyway, I bought 4 tires for it. I got pushed into it. I didn't want to, but I got pushed into it. Did I get brand tire shit? No, it's a Prius. I'm not putting any weight on that. Nothing's towing with that, although you can tow a boat out of the water with a Prius. Those motors, they will tow a boat out of the water. They're very strong. Yes, they will do it. All right, I'm sorry. Let me get back to this whole thing. DOGE's activities at Social Security have drawn particular scrutiny because of its role as the government's central hub for Americans' most sensitive personal financial information. The agency is the country's largest benefit-paying entity, keeping data on millions of individuals who interact with other federal agencies, including the IRS, Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services, and the Agricultural Department, as well as state unemployment offices. About 73 million retired and disabled Americans receive monthly benefits from the Social Security Administration. The White House, Donald Trump, in response to Thursday's court ruling, accused radical leftist judge of trying to sabotage President Donald Trump's agenda at Social Security. The president will continue to seek all legal remedies available to ensure that the will of the American people goes into effect, spokesman Harrison Fields wrote in the email statement. As Dudek contemplated whether to halt agency operations, he's never going to do that, but you know what I mean? But it was, man, come on. What were you know what I mean? You don't tell the American people you're going to shut down the SSA. You know what I mean? You don't do that. You know what I mean? You can think it. That's fine. You can look, but don't touch. You know what I mean? That's how it works. You know what I mean? So anyways, as Dudek contemplated whether to halt agency operations, many headquarters offices in Woodlawn, Maryland were thrown into chaos. The DOGE team of about a dozen software engineers were denied access to the building and to their government laptop computers on Dudek's order, leaving their status on Microsoft Teams unknown, as if they had quit or retired, said one employee, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. The judge, concluding that DOGE's access to so much personal information poses major risks, ordered team members and affiliates to delete anonymized Social Security data in their possessions. The order blocked Dudek, Chief Information Officer Michael Russo, and others from granting DOGE entry to their systems. Since the White House elevated him to the top acting job 6 weeks ago, Dudek has made major changes. A mid-level data, all right, so blah, blah, blah. We'll just go through the yada, yada. Okay. Now, you guys know Leland Dudek is in until Frank Bizignano takes over. Leland Dudek, under direction of Trump, fired, or let go, or allowed to retire, or allowed to leave 7,000 staffers, changed a bunch of agency stuff, overpayments, 100% take back, not 10% like, Commissioner Martin O'Malley. Dudek said he moved quickly after the ruling to terminate access for the DOGE team, but he said he is trying to get some sliver of access back for them because they give good advice. As for the rest of the agency's more than 50,000 claims processors, call center employees, disability hearing staff, and other staff, how are they not DOGE affiliated? Dudek asked. And he's not totally wrong, but can we be fair about this real quick? Can we be just a little fair? The SSA is going through a bad hair month. It's not having a good time. It's waking up and there's strands all over the place. There are hairs on that pillow of that bed that did not come from the SSA. We don't know who put them there. We're a little concerned. So as a result, I guess what my point to you is, and I don't want you to be scared. I don't want you to be fearful that you're going to lose your benefits, even though the commissioner of the SSA just said that you were going to potentially lose your benefits. The point I'm getting at is there's a lot of theater going on with this situation. It's okay to be concerned, but Trump cannot allow the American people to actually feel the burn of a potential loss of benefits on a wide scale. Yes, people are going to get screwed over and have interrupted benefits. Absolutely. It's happened before. It happened before COVID. It happened before, no, nothing really happened before Biden. He's been in the system since there were caves. It's called like it is. I'm kidding, of course, 1935, but still, the bottom line is with this whole thing, Trump can't afford a Social Security upset. So he called Commissioner Dudek and said, you fix this now. You call the Post now. You call the Legacy News now, and you fix this now. Actually, he didn't call the Post, he called somebody else. But the point is, Trump is worried about Social Security benefits. And if there's a silver lining to this whole thing, a president that is not traditionally thought of as somebody for benefits for the people, a president all of a sudden has Dudek on his radar in a very big way. And you better believe that President Trump, was probably, after getting off the phone with Commissioner Dudek, calling Frank Bisignano and saying, get your ass to the Hill. We're going to get the Senate together. We're getting the band together, and you're going to have to go in and, play some ball. All right. With that said, everybody, please have a wonderful night. I will catch you later. Please be kind to each other. Don't be mean to each other. Also, with that said, I will catch you all a little bit later. You have a wonderful night. Please remember to go over to Google and type in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida. Throw some stars up there. I always have seen them. Please remember to like. We got 618 people in here and only 257 likes. It's okay to hit the like button. It's not going to bite you. It's not going to bite you. With that said, I go live on Mondays and Thursdays to answer phone calls for free, where I answer questions about disability law for free. America's most viewed, subscribed to, and clicked on Disability Attorney. Yay. Awesome. Super dupe. With that said, if you want to go ahead and hire me for a private session, 1 hour, mini contract is below, where I walk you through how to fix something that has popped up. I will catch you all a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we will go from there. Attorney Walter Hnot, thank you so much. And please sleep well. Enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.